Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. How low does silver have to go before you give up? That is the subject of today's video. With the prices of silver at a low that we haven't seen in quite some time, below $15 an ounce, it's easy to get discouraged for those of us who collect this metal to preserve our wealth. And what you see before you is a collection of pieces that I like to handle and touch and enjoy. So they've got a bit of wear and use out of them. But nonetheless, these metals remain the same. No matter what the price are, they are there, they're here. But a lot of people get discouraged because the prices of these metals have changed so dramatically. And I think we are in the second wave of what I consider a two-wave scenario that has occurred since my time here on YouTube, and taking note of the trends in the community for silver specifically. When I first joined, silver was taking a bit of a drop from its highs in 2011, its second all-time high, the first being in 1980 when the Hunt brothers cornered the market. It was a slightly different time in 2011 as to why the prices raised as high as they did. And shortly towards the getting closer to the late spring of 2011, the prices started to dip down quite dramatically through 2012 and 13. But we were all thinking that they were going to go back up again, considering the economic situation here in the United States and what can be referred to as the longest economic recovery. We just come out of the housing crisis and what is known as the Great Recession. And really a lot of the things that were happening and occurring at the time set the stage for higher precious metal prices. So we were all of the mind that these metals were going to go back up again. And they did not. They stabilized for a while, and they did creep back up somewhat. And so that gave us some hope, that, hey, these things, there is some value here, and bolstering our reasons for accumulating silver. But nonetheless, as time went on, people became discouraged because they weren't seeing movement in silver prices. That's the first wave. And the second wave, I think, is now. And we're at the beginning of that wave where we're seeing the prices dip dramatically lower to below $15 an ounce, a number that I wasn't expecting to see. And what will happen? Will people abandon silver again because of these low prices? It's understandable, especially for those who are of retirement age or who want to cash in their savings, so to speak, and they're losing money. And I feel for those people. It's a tough time when you purchase silver for over $20 an ounce and have to sell it or need to sell it, or at a time where you will sell it at below $15 an ounce. But keep in mind what silver is there for. And that's what we're going to talk about. I want to encourage those of you who have been accumulating silver at higher prices, why you should stick around and not give up on silver. Silver is quite a unique metal, and I'm really talking more strictly about silver than gold, because I think most of us can see that even though gold has taken quite a hit as of late, and it did during the previous time, essentially its dips are not as dramatic as we see in silver. Gold is treasured. Silver is seen, especially today, more so than ever, as a commodity, just as much, if not more so, than money. Its usage in the biomedical field, in industry, in technology, is rampant, and it will increase as the years go by. Even as technology increases to where you can do more with less silver, its applications will widen, and its use will widen as the technology becomes cheaper and more widespread, meaning that really in the end, more silver will be used. And this could, in time, and I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon because there's plenty of silver mined. They're mining a lot of silver. But there's going to come a time where you're going to find that level of demand will increase, mining will increase, but keeping up with it may be an issue. But the other aspect of it is just the sheer history of silver. Silver has been around a long, long time, and it's been used as money more widespread than any other metal out there of value, the precious metal. Now, we know copper probably would be number one. It's just in its use as money. But silver, and the value of silver is used as of a substantial value as a precious metal, has been used much more extensively throughout history. It's really only recently, since 1965 in the case of the United States, and in some later years in other countries where you have the debasement happening more slowly. But nonetheless, mints still produce silver coins, and private mints produce bars and rounds. And as you can see from this handled silver before your very eyes here, that it's something that is treasured as well, and just not as much as gold. It's more volatile than gold. But I would encourage people, if you're thinking about giving up, to not give up. And it's obvious that if you reach a certain age of retirement or an economic situation where you need to sell, this is the time where you will lose dollars and cents in your original outlay of expenditures towards these metals. But that's what they're there for. They're there for. They are there so that you can have preserved your wealth, or at least a certain amount of it, in times of need. And remember, back when you paid $20 an ounce for silver, and if you have to cash out at $15 an ounce or less, in some metrics, in some ways, the dollar is strong now. And so my hope is that it will serve you better now than it did then. However, there's sort of an anathema there, because by some metrics, the dollar has lost 11% of its value in the last 2 years. So in some ways, if you do sell, if you need to sell, you will take a loss. But keep in mind, that the loss you're taking will not be nearly as great as the loss you would have had had you put your money in some other more risky asset class or some other manner or form. The long-term view or history of silver is one of much greater consequence. It's really, in the long run, when you look at the inflation-adjusted charts, silver has maintained its value from years gone by. You can time the markets where you sell at a certain time where you can either make money on silver or lose money on silver, hence why some people still call it an investment. I don't like to see it as that. I like to see it as a savings or a hedge against times of economic instability. This is not a time of economic instability in the United States anyway. For most people, the economy is doing quite well. And so if you have a time where you're in a situation where times you are in times of trouble and you have to cash out of your holdings where you made a purchase at a higher price than what you're paying now, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, at least it's not a throwaway. You're not losing at all, and it's still serving its purpose for you. And that is part of what the deal is with silver. There are going to be times where it's going to be worth less than in other times. If you're a long-term accumulator and are young enough to where you're still in accumulation mode for silver, then this is a good buying opportunity. And if you dollar cost average, which is what I do, I just buy essentially when I can afford it, no matter what the price is. In fact, at this time, I'm not able to purchase any because of my situation. And so when you average it all out, it all works itself out in the end. So take heart in that. And again, it's a hard pill to swallow for those who need to sell now, who have an economic need to do so for a car repair, medical expenses, or what have you, or you're near retirement age. And it's understandable for that case. But if you don't need to sell, don't sell. In my opinion, this is the time to hold on, because you only lose money if you need to sell it. But fully recognizing, though, I do, and most of us need to come to the realization, for those who need to cash out for one reason or another, they will lose some money. But as I've always said from the very beginning, silver will never go to zero. And take heart in that, whereas other things that you buy in life, they do. And there's something to be said for a precious metal that has been used as money for literally millennia. So hold on, hold fast, and be encouraged. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to y'all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.